Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to talk about a little bit about the Blight League, Vaal mechanics in specific, because I'm currently trying out a Vaal Arc because I thought it's going to be like super efficient in clearing Blight maps, also the Blight mechanic. And yeah, I want to just show you what I've done so far on this character, how I think it could work or not. And some general thoughts for this league, because I'm actually not really having fun at all, but more of that later on. So I did play quite a lot of characters. The week is now like today is like Saturday, right? That means the week is now 8 days old, or at least 7 days. Means that it's early on in the league, so it's nothing too fancy here. Still, I played up an Assassin 78, Juggernaut 92, Pathfinder 92, and Slayer 91. So this. I did try out a lot of skills here. This was the Venom Gar and Cobra Lash. Here we had the Blade Vortex Juggernaut, which I killed Uber Elder with, so very good build. Then on the Pathfinder for the Vaal skills, what I want to talk a little bit about later, and the Slayer, which was an alley hit. Then it was a Tornado Shot Fizz with the Impale, which didn't turn out any good or something. And then in the end, it was the Ice Shot Slayer, which I killed the whole Atlas with. So also good build. And so it's been 8 days, and I'm literally trying to play or at least try to play 8 or 9 different builds already, which is quite insane even for my standards. Although I played a total of, I think, 23 different builds last league. So I'm really overdoing it a little bit with the different builds at the moment. So for the Vaal Archer, you guys probably know I played Vaal Arc last league in 2 editions. One was the Eternity Shroud, right, like the really high budget one. And one was the Magic Finder in terms of the Legion Farmer, where you could potentially, or at least 9 out of 10 times, you're gonna one-shot the whole Legion. And this is what I thought about the Blight mechanic as well. If you ever played a Blighted map, you know that in the first 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, it's super boring, right? You have 2 or 3 routes there. It's not hard at all. But after 2 minutes, when there's 10, 15, 20 routes, it's going to be insane. So, that's why I thought if there is so much mob density, a Vaal Archer with an Impulsor could actually or potentially clear the whole map with one single arc. I know that Arc got nerfed back 2 leagues ago or something, but they did not nerf the Vaal Arc. So, for the map showcase and why I'm actually kinda, how you gonna call it actually? A little bit disappointed in GGG at all, right? Because they are legit destroying every fun build that was out there. So, for example, you know, as a Pathfinder, you were able to get the Flask effect, so your Soul Catcher will reduce the Vaal cost of skills and the Soul Gain Prevention, so you could actually permanently use Vaal skills if you cleared enough monsters, right? There was one alchemy tree over here that they replaced, or at least changed here. There was this one alchemy node where you get the 10% increased flask effect and some other cool stuff here, right? Or even more. The problem is they split this in 4 parts now, okay? So one of these parts is here with the Aqueous Accelerant, which gives you 10% increased effect of flasks. Then you have here on the Primal Spirit, the small nodes here. One gives you 5% increased effect of Flask, and here another 5%. And then they move the next Flask effects over here with Arcane Chemistry and also Profane Chemistry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points across the screen here, across the skill tree, to even have a chance to make those Vaal skills possible. So I wrote down here a little bit. We did some calculations yesterday, our good old Excel spreadsheet. So this is the one that we came up with, okay? So Vaal Arc has a cost of 25. So with the reduced Vaal skill modifier that I have currently on my two-handed stave here, then we have the soul cost reduction, which is 40% from the flask, plus the, soul catcher calculation, the flask effects that you have, like Conqueror's Potency, the Ascendancy, which gives you 25%, then the notes that the 4 notes that I was talking about, plus a potential belt craft, right? This is the max flask effect that you can get over here, right? Which would end up being 6 Vaal stacks here, right? So if I just remove one of those, like let's say Arcane Chemistry, which is over here, I would get down to 556. That means 5 Vaal skills. So even if you have 5.99, you will still have 5 Vaal stacks. If it's 6.01, then you have 6 stacks, okay? So it's always like the first number is important here. So you can play around a little bit here. If I remove the second, this one would be actually pretty good. So what I think is if we're taking still those two and just remove the belt craft, we're getting down to 5.14, which is 5 Vaal Arc stacks, which is totally fine, okay? With my current gear setup here. So 5 stacks or even 4 stacks could also be quite okay. So if you remove this one here, we have 4.3, so 4 stacks could be okay as well. In the end, we're saving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points here on the tree just to get those double 8%. So the problem is, in the previous version, you could go like really nice damage here, right? Because you only needed those 8 stacks plus the Conqueror's potency to increase the effect of flasks. So this will apply to every single Vaal skill. The next problem that we have, the Timeless Jewel. Remember last league with the Timeless Jewel having the increased effect of Flask. So let me check something. Out of Exile 3.8 patch notes. There's like another thing they changed, which is kinda stupid. So, effect of Flask. There we go. It was before the Brutal Restraint, it's the yellow one, that could give you 8% increased effect of Flask, same as the Conqueror's Potency, for example, based on the notes here, the notables here, right? So you could just divine one, put it in, and then check for Flask effect. This could get you up to potentially probably even more than 10 Vaal Arc stacks, what would make it actually possible to do like end game content with it, because you have enough stacks to just burst the boss down, right? So they changed this one from increased effect of flasks to increased effect of non-unique flask. So this will not count for our soul catcher anymore. Therefore, we cannot lower this in any case here, right? So I still said I'm going to try it. I think it's going to be fun. And it turned out to be, for at least the current state, it turns out to be real shit, okay? Wait, Ally Reflect, then we have, oh sorry, double click. No regen is bad, okay, this should be fine. So the problem is, I don't know if you encountered this one, but in the current version of the Blight encounters and Blighted maps, these mobs do have a ridiculous amount of HP. And what I conquered here with this current setup, with the 6-link impulsor, with the Vaal Arc setup, I need sometimes 2 to 3 Vaal Arcs to actually kill off one lane. That means that I'm going to run out of Vaal stacks before I'm even able to kill off other stuff. We do have now the synthesized rings that gives you a Herald of Buff effect. With this ring, my Herald of Thunder is giving me more damage than Wrath is doing, okay? And I'm not talking about gear like 50, 60, or even 100 exalts here, besides the Headhunter. Okay, like, fuck this Headhunter, because it's not going to be good anyways. I mean, Headhunter in this league, it's another topic what I'm going to discuss later. So let's just run a map so you can see how it is working out right now and what are my approaches to it, right? So we're having just like Arc as the usual form of killing off the first mobs, activating Flask, and then you can basically just screen clear. Yeah, screen clear, basically. Like, Vaal Arc can chain up to, like, I don't know, like 3 screens sometimes. But even though the skill tree is so scuffed, you just miss, like, a lot of damage, right? This is now a tier 13 map. And sometimes, like, bosses and so on, or at least, like, rare packs do sometimes need 2 or 3 Vaal Arc. The problem with that is, since you are having to scale or your skill tree so heavily to even get all the Flask nodes out of that, right? You're really gonna have a hard time getting enough damage for any kind of endgame, because this approach was actually for like tier 15 Blighted maps, right? So let's try this one here. We're just going to probably get some fire turrets down here just because minions are like minion and frost immunity. That's actually a pretty hard one. So we're gonna clear off, and now we have Vaal Arc. And as you see, the Vaal Arc is not really one-shotting as it used to. I mean, sometimes mob surviving, but don't forget, this is now a tier 13. So if you do this in a tier 15 map, you're gonna have massive problems in terms of damage. So maybe at a certain amount of currency investment, you might be able to do something like that. But in the current state, with like the maybe 15-20 exalts that I invested into this character, it's not really that efficient at all, right? So, Blight. If currency. And yeah, single target, that would be the second choice that I would take in my stave here. It's still not 6-link. I throw like 1,000 fusings on it, still not 6-link. Because I would like to do, this is my Vaal Arc setup, and here would be my normal Arc setup with like spell echo, faster casting, like the typical Arc stuff you're doing, right? To have at least some kind of single target. So, okay, map clearing does look fine. Probably you're gonna say, why, mbX, it doesn't really look bad. I mean, what the hell, you're clearing the map like a madman, you're just chaining everything is exploding, like, what is the problem, you know? Boss damage is the problem. Vaal skills are nice for clearing maps, but for bosses you're gonna see, okay, now I ran out of Vaal stacks, so Vaal, and then Arc, Vaal, Arc, come on, Arc.
My mana is gone.
Mana gone, oh, okay, now we killed it. So, how long does this take now? 15 seconds or something, or 10 seconds to kill off a tier 13 boss. So convert this in a Guardian map. No fucking chance that you can do that. My Arc is currently doing 16,000 damage. I mean, with Flask subs, it's probably 22,000. So the Arc damage itself, you probably would need to make a separate, as I planned basically, to make a complete separate Arc here. Because if you just take Arc in this case, right, we have less duration, Swift Affliction. These are both to reduce the soul game prevention of our Vaal Arc. And then we have Lightning Pen, added lightning, and control destruction. So basically my Arc, the typical Arc, the normal one, is a 4-link, right? So this is not any good at all for any kind of endgame content. On top of that, the character is kind of squishy as well. So, you might ask now, why the hell did you take Eldritch Battery? The problem is, as soon as you're using the Soul Catcher, you cannot gain mana because of that, right? That means that as soon as you're like out of mana, or at least like every Flame Dash, for example, costs mana, so you would need to run Flame Dash with like a Blood Magic to just leave your mana open for just the Arc here, right? But let's say you kill something with Vaal Arc, you didn't kill enough, you're not getting a stack, but you don't have enough mana to cast your Arc, so you basically have to run around here waiting until your Soul Catcher wears off so you're able to regen mana again. There was one solution that I had in last league that I tried out here as well. This is the Lavyanga Spirit, which says your skills have no mana cost during Flask effect. That means we can basically just, if we do it like that, we're shooting, or at least like now it's not possible because I'm Eldritch Battery, so I don't really have mana. But the idea behind that is you're using mana, like from your 100% mana pool. You're shooting like 2 arcs, right? This is the one that you're doing anyways in start of the map. The first arcs that, so you get the souls back. You have like 50% mana of that 100% like gone just because of the arc spamming. Then you're using the Soul Catcher to block that you cannot gain mana anymore, so your mana stays at 50%. Then you're using the Lavyanga Spirit, and this will run the whole time, just because you don't have full mana, so the Mana Flask will work. It's like it stops working once you have full mana. But since your Soul Catcher will block the mana gain, you're basically having free mana costs for everything else, right? So you just need to make sure that you're keeping your flasks active all the time to make this possible. And since this was actually not even that cool, I changed to the Eldritch Battery, so my energy shield gets converted to my mana pool. It's now saving my mana pool. The good thing about this is my mana, I do not have mana cost at the moment, so that means I cannot run like Arcane Search or something. But therefore my energy shield will be my new mana here, right? Which is good since even though I have no mana and everything is reserved, I can still use my normal arc. And since the Vaal Arc doesn't use any kind of mana, I can just spam a Vaal Arc, and once I need, I can still have my energy shield as mana base for Flame Dash, for the usual arc things, and so on. So you would go hybrid with that, like 400 energy shield is not good at all, like since I'm running here the Mind Over Matter, that means every time I get damaged, 30% of that damage will go onto the energy shield as well. Which is not a big deal, since as I said, the Vaal Arc doesn't cost mana, so you just need that thing just in the start here, right? But you would actually try to make your gear for Energy Shield Life Hybrid, so you can really take a good advantage of the Eldritch Battery Mind Over Matter combination. Another good thing is, since they changed all this lightning damage, fire damage, like elemental damage, is now leeching Energy Shield, right? So what I did here is I'm having an amulet that says of lightning damage leeched as life, and my Herald of Thunder says lightning damage leeched as Energy Shield. This Energy Shield is now my new mana. As soon as I do damage, I'm regening my mana here, right? To spam, or at least like to have this Mind Over Matter basically active here. And the lightning damage leeched as life will therefore cover my life, plus the regen, plus a potential life flask to keep up. So, I mean, that sounds pretty good, but in the end, as I said, I'm not happy with this one. It's currently level 92, so definitely fine for end game, basically, right? It's not like you need to be level 99 or 100 to make this build possible. Like every character above level 90, it's just like 10 skill points plus or minus for more life, a little bit more damage, but level 90 is actually something where you can run like almost every build here, right? But as I said, when you're taking the approach on the Pathfinder for the Flask effect nodes, just to make your Vaal Arc to have multiple stacks to clear off maps pretty fast, you just need to invest so heavily into these the points here to get your Flask effect. So you would probably say, now wait a second, we have anoint. Why don't you just anoint one of these points here, right? Yeah, if I would do that, let's say we have 5.14, right? Without the belt. So if I would just anoint one of these, or at least like skip one of these, I'm running down to 4 instead of 5 stacks. So you really want to have the 5 stacks here, right? If you can have it. The thing with anointing, you want to anoint something that you cannot reach. Let's say I'm a Pathfinder, I'm a witch something, and I want to have Constitution, for example. So this is something you would never reach with your typical skill tree. Or let's say you want to have Soul of Steel, which is 1 max resistance to all and fist reduction. These are the things you want to anoint just because you cannot reach them. So the thing is, this one doesn't need to be anointed because it's just 4 skill points here, right? Obvious. This one I don't need to anoint. I cannot anoint because the Flask effect is only counting to the small note to the small notes here. So notes you cannot anoint, you can only do this one, and this one doesn't give you Flask effect. So if I would anoint Arcane Chemistry, I still need to scale all the way up to Profane Chemistry to get the second one, right? So I would save with the anoint, I would save 2 skill points here, 3 skill points here, or 4 skill points here. So 4 skill points is not really too heavy to get into, right? That's why I don't really want to anoint one of these things. It would be way better, let's say the Aqua's Accelerant would be somewhere here, right? Like at the Juggernaut, where I say like, dude, it's impossible to reach that point, right? So I would just like take my Flask effect nodes, anoint the last Flask effect, and we're done. But since they are sticking together, and only if I remove one single of those, I'm getting down to 4 stacks. Which is shit, right? Because at some points, especially in bosses, you want to have as max stacks as possible. Let's say we skip both of those, we run 4-3, which would be fine. We would save up 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 points. And those 11 points could potentially go into more life and more damage here, right? With like arcane potency or whatever shit, right? So this would be the next approach that I would try, to just run with 4 stacks to even have some nice clear. But as I said, I was actually trying to do this for endgame, and at the moment it's not really shining in any case, and I'm scared that every single Vaal skill, just because of the changes of the Timeless Jewel and mixing those 3 Alchemist nodes down to 4 splitted parts here, will pretty much destroy every single Vaal skill for the endgame, which I hate. Like, seriously, GGG. I mean, that was so fun builds, those Vaal skills, and yeah, you just ruined it. The next thing I want to talk about, Headhunter. Why is Headhunter probably just not worth it this league? Headhunter is usually like one of the best things to have for endgame, for magic finding, for any kind of stuff that you can do in this game, right? The problem is, they nerfed the 5 Legion carry, or the 5-way carry. The thing is, there is a lot less rare packs and a lot less loot boxes. So a friend of mine that tried 5 ways with like a 4-man party, they said with a really good gear setup, they would actually get like 5 bars, 5 rows of loot with like 2 minutes left, right? Now they changed it that way that once the timer is done, you're about to hit 3 rows with Headhunter, with Inspired Learnings, with all the choosy things here, with a self-cursed temp chain setup. So they basically ruined the loot by 2/3 basically, right? The next thing is they removed a lot of rare packs, and even the blighted maps do not have a lot of rare packs. And rare packs is what you need for Inspired Learning Headhunter combination to really take advantage out of that. So blighted maps do not have a lot of those. The next thing is they removed the Beyond mod from the Atlas. So if you remember back in the days when I played my magic finding Wind Ripper with Inspired Learnings that I pushed to level 100 in Elder Burial Chambers, I was running double Beyond setup just because there is so many more rare packs and monsters in general, so you're really getting a high amount of buffs where you just like invulnerable and just one-shotting everything, even bosses, without any problems, you know. So they removed Beyond, so the only thing you can do is rolling Beyond on your maps, which is super expensive. I just remember back when I did the Magic Find Wind Ripper, the Space Ripper, I needed about 3,000 chaos, just pure chaos like here, to roll 140 times, like since I did a complete tap of Burial Chambers. I needed 3,000 chaos to roll all 144 with the Beyond mod. So rolling Beyond with chaos is a pain, really. And the cheaper version was always going with the map device, but they removed that as well. So I would basically say with all those changes they did, they're basically making Headhunter, yeah, fine for Delves. I would not want to run Delve without Headhunter, to be honest, because it's just so insane, because there's still a lot of rare packs, especially the deeper you go. But for like those all juicy, fully juiced high tier maps with double Beyond and that stuff, that's out of the way. Legion, out of the way. Blight mechanic doesn't really have a lot of rare packs, at least not comparable to other leagues. So probably that's why Headhunter it's one of the weakest Headhunter leagues in total. So talking about new builds, or probably, since I'm just saying, like I said quite often in the past couple of videos, I don't like Poison, I don't like Summoner, and I don't like Totem builds and Minor builds. These are just types of builds that I did play once, but I just don't feel it, right? I want to have my character to do the damage and not bound on something else doing the damage, right? So that's why I don't enjoy those builds, and that's probably the main reason why I'm actually not really enjoying this league here. Since all the fun stuff we had in the past leagues, they got nerfed to the ground or completely destroyed, or only possible with like hundreds of Exalts investments to just overkill everything. The next thing is, you guys know me, I'm a big Melee fan. The problem with Melee in this league is, if you take a look at blighted maps, where these roots are just spreading all over the place and there's mobs running from all sides to you, you need something with a very high area of effect clear. And that's why the reason why I tried the Vaal Arc, since I know it has a ridiculous clear. But just needing like 3-4 Vaal Arcs to kill off tier 14 Blight monsters is just ridiculous, right? But anyways, let's talk about Cyclone, for example. They nerfed the Cyclone area of effect. It would still be good, I think, but just think about it. There is mobs coming from the right side. You Cyclone here to kill off those mobs. Meanwhile, they're rushing through to the left side. You run left side. Meanwhile, they're coming from the right side and from the bottom side. There is like, without really heavy AoE clear, you probably not really have a chance to get the blighted maps going. And I'm not talking about a tier 2 blighted map. I'm really talking about the end game blighted maps, tier 15 blighted maps, juiced up with oils and so on. So either it's just group based where the game crashes, or you just really need something very insanely AoE based thing, right? And that pretty much kills off almost every melee skill, which I hate, you know, because I love melee, and they just, if I want to play melee, I can just grind the rest of the content, but I'm not into the league mechanic. So GGG basically forces you to play certain builds, and this is something I hate, right? I don't want to be forced to play a summoner just because it's overpowered. I don't want to be forced to play a miner just because it has the best clear. I want to play a character that I think is a lot of fun, but with all the changes and nerfs, and trust me on that, guys, summoner will be that next league just because they're going to nerf it to the ground as well, because that's what they do. But not like, I don't want to really bring like a bad feeling about GGG. It's just all preparation for 4.0, and this is my prediction, right? 3.6 caster rework, 3.7 melee rework, 3.8 minions, summoner, mines, all that kind of rework. So 3.9 is going to be another rework league, and it's probably going to be, I mean, what's left? Like bow skills, attack, like projectile skills probably. And once all of this is like buffed, nerfed, buffed, nerfed, buffed, nerfed, buffed, we have 4.0. Last league is going to be nerfed as well. So at 4.0, and this is where I'm really looking forward to, we should have all skills like melee, summoner, everything should be balanced at some point. There you say like you can literally play everything what you want, because nothing is like superior overpowered that we're currently facing in this kind of leagues with all the reworks. Because we're all gonna agree melee was super broken last league, right? We're all gonna agree 3.6 Winter Orb meta caster was super broken. I mean, obviously, now it's summoner and all those kind of builds that I personally not enjoy. And that's why I'm trying to find one of my older builds where I had a super lot of fun with those, even not being meta. And it just feels like everything got like nerfed to the ground what was fun. And that's why I'm currently just pushing builds, just trying what is good, what is not good, with an investment of like 10 exalts or 15 maybe. Because with 15x budget, you should be able to clear all content. But yeah, that's for it now, basically. I just want to give you guys my impression, and let me know in the comments below what you think about the Blight League and the current state of the matter. If you're enjoying the summoner builds or not, or if you're in my boat, basically, with my opinion here. And yeah, we are going to see what it's going to be in the next couple of days. I'm just looking forward to clearing all the challenges. This is what I'm going to focus now, because I think at the moment, at this kind of stage, if I'm having 40 of 40, I'm probably done with the league and just wait for next league, because I'm not really having fun at all. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.